Monday, January 8th,
Okay.
after consideration of the encroachment agreement.
I move
Okay,
that.
so moved. Seconder? Okay, any discussion before I call the question? All in favor? Okay, that is passed, all opposed? Okay, thanks, Emma.
Thank
Next up. Transportation Advisory Committee recommendation, who is handling this one?
Oh, I'll speak to this. I really, most of them, I just wanted to say, it's really just really that they're in support. So I think it's really, so, first one. The first one, I think also ties in with, oh, I can't really speak, yeah.
What's that, sorry?
9.1? Is that the one we're on?
9.1, yes.
That's on page 6 of 196.
Yeah, so 9.1, really in support of the draft transportation plan budget. Oh, it's all 9.1, okay, yeah. So I just wanted to sort of say that it's pretty much really in favor of what we're already doing as a council. And that perhaps some of this can also be backed up by the results that when we finally get the final results from the survey. I think a lot of it will support the recommendations that we made. So yeah, that is what I wanted to say there.
Okay, so basically the staff recommendations,
The committee
Oh.
recommended.
well, we have the recommendations of the staff underneath the committee recommendations. So we have the committee recommendations and then the staff recommendations of where those would be referred to, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, and I thought they were all appropriate.
Okay. Do you need kind of a motion on that?
Yeah, we do need council to adopt the staff recommendations. And would you want me to read those so we're just clear?
Oh, you want to read them all? Hey, have
So the
fun.
first one
Can
is
I
that council.
ask a question about the, are we going to have, where are we at with getting the, at least a final draft of the transportation plan?
Question.
Because I don't know how we can consider budget numbers without having some detail as to.
Well, that's why the staff recommendation is request to refer it to the budget process.
So I have no problem with that, but
Right.
I think Councillor Mason will answer your question.
So when I spoke to staff, they were hoping to have it finished prior to the Christmas break, so hopefully it'll come to council in the new year. And then at the last BIMTAC meeting, we went through the proposed budget. So that was available. It was available today at strategic planning as well.
I think if maybe if I read out the staff recommendations, that'll help. The first one is that council refer the budget request from BIMTAC in relation to the draft transportation budget summary to the 2018 budget process. And before we get there, we will have the presentation of the transportation plan to council. That's recommendation number one. Second.
Should we not do, let's do them as one.
Okay,
as one.
okay, then I'll read the other ones as well. That the request from BIMTAC for ferry line painting be referred to the Public Works Manager for comment. The one regarding the Cardina Road has already been dealt with. And the last one is that the request from BIMTAC for pedestrian lighting be referred to the Public Works Manager for comment. And report back to council.
So moved and seconded. Okay, any discussion before I call the question?
I just wanted to make one final comment on the last one about the low-level lighting. And it was actually, one of the points made was that if it's not possible right now to put in the actual lighting, but maybe to just put in the infrastructure when you're doing the road work so that at an appropriate time it's there and they're not having to go back. So that was, doesn't really come through in the actual recommendation.
I have one question. What do you mean by low-level pedestrian lighting? Do you just mean like dim, or do you mean actually low as in elevation?
I think both, just to give enough light to be able to see properly, but also to take into consideration that you don't want to be blinding houses or ruining the night sky, so it's the appropriate
Councillor Mason, is Emma up to speed on this part of the discussion from impact? So I'm just thinking she and Bob can.
I believe she was there.
Okay. So
Believe
she
she
can
was
bring him
there.
up to speed on what the, because sometimes motions don't articulate exactly what it is.
Yes, I don't know if she was there for that little part, but I'm sure she's kind of up to speed on what the feeling is.
Just, it might also be useful to check in with Bonnie, because at one point she looked at some lighting for the area by the lock block wall.
Okay, call the question then. All in favor? Good. Passed unanimously. Okay, Councillor Morse.
Adam, are we up? We don't have to do a PowerPoint presentation, and if nobody has any questions, then I won't bother. I just wanted to draw, if these minutes would normally have been in the consent agenda, but I wanted to draw everybody's attention to the fact that we're planning on, if you look at the minutes, we're planning on starting to clear the site for the fire hall. The trees are all bare, the leaves are off, so it's good. We've got to get it done before nesting season happens, and now is a good time. We will probably have to burn on site just because of the exorbitant costs of trucking it off, but this is also a good time of year to do that because it's wet, et cetera, et cetera. And Metro Vancouver has been notified, and they're planning on putting up snow fencing and closing off their trail. So if anybody, this is the site, so this gives you an idea of what's there. That's the one corner, that's the north corner. And so it's really not the most beautiful scenic site you've ever seen. And you can see that the alders are beautiful. Well, it's depending on some of these. But anyhow, part of the reason why we picked that site was it was the least treed part of the lots too. So that's sort of the middle of the lot where our sign is. And that little yellow post is the end of the south end of the lot. So that just gives you, and looking at, from a dollars and cents perspective, we've done the due process of getting the quotations and everything. And really, if you look at the fact that you need a driveway for the 3 bays so the trucks can all drive out straight, and you need some parking access, and you need staging area to put your equipment and everything, the only area that would sort of be untouched was a couple of specimen trees that we've marked in the back part, and the area around the septic field. And from a cost perspective, it makes no sense. We can probably sell some of the logs, and you would want to take them all off at once. You wouldn't want more than 2 part trucks, and we can sell the alder for perhaps firewood, and just it doesn't make sense cost-wise to do it all at once.
Okay, yep. Before you jump in, I'd like to jump in. So we have drawings done by Liberty,
Yeah.
and they show a 161-foot distance across the site. So it comes from our north property line here to just before the driveway with the ambulance station on the other side. Okay, but what has been flagged is into further along, which takes it not 161 feet, but over 190 feet. So the land, the amount, and so the 161 shows the turning radius for the trucks, it shows the number of parking spaces, it shows everything required to
There's a buffer on the left side. Have you factored that in?
yes, you have 2 choices for, we have all the schematics from Liberty on it. So when I did the map it, draw it up thing, it's 0.86 of an acre if we do it at 161 feet frontage, and it's exactly 1 acre if it goes across the street. And normally you wouldn't care, but I care because there are trees between the gravel parking area and where the fire hall is going to go. And if we go out to that full 191 feet, coming out in front of the ambulance station, it's not necessary according to the drawings that we have.
And
we wouldn't do it.
It really exposes that parking area to anybody driving along Miller Road.
And we wouldn't
And
do it.
it's the spot where there actually are trees. Like coming, if you come from,
Tyler, can you put the pictures back up, please?
yeah, if you come
The
from,
second one, keep going, back. Oh, no, one more. Okay, that's the property line on the north end.
that's the north end, that's fine. You'll go
Okay,
tight to
so-
that property line.
Well, we
Okay.
have to, yeah, we'll try,
Okay.
and we may leave a few little trees in there because that's the buffer zone to the park.
Well, the park is trees. I mean, I wouldn't understand why you would.
Well, that's one of the requests we got from Metro
Yeah.
Well,
in the
who wouldn't-
referral, was to leave a bit of a
Who
buffer
wouldn't
zone between
request
that
it?
and the park.
Nobody's
Yeah,
arguing that one.
You know, but this is our land and we can clear to that edge, and I would suggest that that's what we're going to do, because that's the end we're putting our fire hall and our parking lot.
Correct.
So to leave a buffer to park with park, I mean, they could have not sold us the land if they wanted it to be park. So I see no reason to not clear to the property line there. There's not a heck of a lot there. It's where you come towards the south.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
so-
a big open area.
Tyler, can
It's
you-
easy and straightforward until you get a little bit more.
That's the end property, that's the
Yeah,
end
and
that's
so you
been flagged.
have this section right through here, and it's not very deep. I mean, 25 or 30 feet is all that those trees are. And it gives you that buffer to the parking lot and the
The
visuals
parking
coming
lot's a
down Miller
long ways
Road.
down from there.
No, it's not, that's the problem. If you go out and physically look at it and stand in front of the ambulance thing, there's just no need to take that extra 10 or 12 big
Well, we may
trees
not
along
need,
that
when we
edge.
will start at the north-south end and flag out, this is just generally to say we're going to start, we're going to clear. And to the extent that there's scrubby alders and stuff in there, they probably, from a safety perspective,
Yeah.
of the roof, should come out. There are some nice trees, that's the line where there was a couple of the good trees, right, Ian, that you were
The
flagging?
big
Yeah.
fir.
Yeah, so there
Yeah.
are some trees
There are some
in
trees in
in
there
there
that
that have been
we'll
identified and we're not
definitely
intending to
Yeah.
take out.
And but that's my whole point. If you clear to the 161 feet, as per the Liberty drawing, and then you take out nothing but small scrub beyond that, I would have no problem with that. My point is that it's gonna look like hell, and it's gonna look like a monster parking lot. If you pave 1 acre on Miller Road, and Gary and I and Ian have had this discussion on site, where, again, I stress there that I don't think it's a very good idea. So I'm going to go to Sue Ellen and then Maureen and then back to Alex.
Maria brought up the same issue one of the same issues I was going to bring up, which is, can we clear only the land that's required for this facility? And I have two questions. One of them is, why are there so many parking spaces when there's parking all along the road?
There is
If-
parking on the road.
Along the trail there, if needed. And the second question is, can you show me on the map where the septic field is, that I've only seen on one drawing and it was just sort of sketched in?
Can you, Tyler, can you put the last slide up, and maybe Ian, can you come up and, Ian, do you know roughly where on this one the septic field is?
Yes.
It's right here, right, Ian?
Yeah, so
Correct.
It
Yeah,
goes
a little bit
across
there.
like this.
something like that.
And
yeah.
so this area, there's a beautiful, beautiful big fir tree there.
And it'll be
Being
staying
maintained.
along with the cedar.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
The
The fir
big
and the
fir
cedar
tree
is
and the
staying.
cedar will be.
Ian, how about you come up and sit at the table, please?
I guess I'm not clear now then about is it going to be cleared or not?
Oh.
Which area is going to be cleared in relation to where the septic field is?
Can I just show you, because I mean, this isn't, this says where the path is, sort of through there. And so the septic field is on this side of the path. And in walking through it, it was determined that it wasn't necessary to take out the septic field. And that's a big deal. And there's some trees, some beautiful trees along the septic field
And those are
that we
staying.
all felt might as well leave them. It just would be a shame to take them out.
So I'm not discussing back here. I think we have good agreement on a logical, sensible way to deal with that. My problem is with this line. So
I'm not saying we're clearing the whole acre, we are going to clear the site.
It's all clear to
Well,
see.
what we have flagged is
I-
the corners of an acre.
Well, what I'm asking is, where is it gonna clear? That's my
Yes.
question.
Well,
That's fine.
we will
Okay.
clear the building site, the parking area on the left, and a bit at the back and the side so that we can build the building.
Okay, let's go to Maureen and Melanie and get all the
Yeah.
questions on the table first of all. Maureen?
I'm finding the discussion a little theoretical. It might be useful for us to go down, those of us who have concerns about what is and is not being cleared, and actually look at what's there.
Thank you.
Okay? And then the second point is, we need some sort of communications plan
Well,
to
that was
convey this
the next step.
to the public, what the timeline is, what the purpose is, remind them, because
Yeah.
there will be people who will look at it and say,
Oh, yeah.
what the hell is going on here? If part of that communication plan is that we're minimizing the trees that are being taken down, that would be a good thing to be able to say. So I guess for that, when were you thinking that the clearing would begin?
Ian,
And, yeah, it wouldn't start till early in the new year.
Great.
we have to get it done before bird nesting season starts, so,
None of the contractors can even look at it till after the Christmas season.
yeah.
So,
So we're talking about, Ian, have you flagged the trees we were definitely intending to?
Aaron and I spent 3 hours there on the weekend, and there's quite a bit more trees we actually are leaving now. So,
So,
At the north end?
correct.
yeah,
So there will be quite a big buffer, as you'd like, between the fire hall and the parking lot. And also at the back where that big fir is, and there's a couple of big cedars that we're going to save.
Have you flagged all of the trees that will be felled?
No,
No,
because
yeah.
that really would have brought the public, I think, we started flagging them, and we were getting bombarded with people like, are these your trees you're taking down, and when are you doing it? So, no, but I would be more than happy to walk with any counselor and
Yeah,
show them exactly
great.
what we've got planned.
yeah. The standard process for
sorry,
tree
what-
cutting is to flag the ones you want left behind.
Yep, that's exactly what I was gonna say. What Ian and I talked about is he's flagging the trees that are going to be left.
Okay.
I have one more question. That is, have you looked at the Heron bylaw and made sure that you know about the timing there?
I have not, no.
Okay, because if you consult Bonnie, she will fill you in on that, because it may be, I'm not sure if it's close enough or not, but you can check with Bonnie.
Okay, have we beat that one down?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, can I just confirm that we're gonna have a walkabout before any trees are cut?
Yes, I would suggest we have a resolution that staff be directed to arrange a site visit to review the clearing of the fire hall site prior to this taking place. And maybe I'd suggest that site visit be scheduled for next week.
Sounds good, yeah, if we want to get the contractors lined up.
I don't know if I'll be able to make it, I'd just be interested to know when the trees are being flagged, so I could go down and have a
They're
look.
done. What
No,
colors?
no,
are-
No,
not.
no,
Ian.
no, we're not, we're not.
When they're flagged.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ian, I thought you
We
said.
know we did, as I said, we started flagging them, and then people thought these are the trees we're taking down, and so we just said it would be a whole lot easier if we did a site visit and what we might do then is just at the very base of each tree is maybe just put a little yellow spray paint, so then the public doesn't walk through and see
Yeah.
tape hanging off every tree.
Maureen?
Do we have a sense of how long this will take?
To clear the site? It would be about a week to clear it, depending on the burn days. So it could be another week in between, once they're down and burning.
Okay, because I've just checked the Heron policy, and what's quoted there is February 1st
That's what
as a start to be worried about whether the herons are there.
I had another question, and then I'd like to hear the motion again, whatever it was. And that is regarding the sale of the wood. It seems to me when we cleared the area 1 of lot 2, we just donated wood to the, I think it was the volunteer fire department, auctioned it off.
Rivendell.
Ended up in Rivendell, didn't it?
Well, some of it did, some, Rivendell took some, and then a few other businesses took some.
I thought you were gonna auction it off or something.
It all
went
went,
to
the
charity.
whole thing went sideways.
But oh, well, I would just,
That's-
There's
I
three
just-
different kinds of wood.
my point is, that we are making resolutions about not doing industrial logging. And I just want to make it really clear to everybody that these trees are coming down for a community purpose, and that it would be great if if we didn't just sell the wood. It would open us to, well, you can do it, but
Would decrease the cost of the building.
Yeah, the big
And the
trees,
cost of
not the
living.
alder, but the hope is that there's some market
I
for
think
the
it would be
maple.
good if when we walk around, we can clarify some of that too, and
There's
I just-
merchantable timber, there's some timber we want to keep for the milling into the aesthetic supports, the not structural ones, you know, and then there's the alder, and there may be the odd other one that isn't, you know, it's only good for fireworks.
well,
Yeah,
this is
there's a
great for
lot
the communication side, if we can say that some of the wood can be used in
Yeah,
the building.
well,
Sure,
I didn't know that, thank you for the answer.
okay. Melanie,
This came up in discussion when Area 1 of Lot 2.
The nuked area.
Yeah. And I think that Kathy, it was a conversation we had, I don't know if it was at the camp, but I thought there was a suggestion maybe coming up with a policy of what to do with cleared woods, because there was, I certainly got a few questions about what was happening with the woods, so I don't know if we could revisit that.
Yeah,
sure, that's a good idea.
I would even suggest we could take any profits, and probably the fire hall facilities committee won't like this too much, but even put it in our new affordable housing reserve. Something like, no, seriously.
Something would be
Yeah, I
really
think we're gonna get a
considerable.
timber mark here,
Yeah.
right? And there may be some marketable wood, and,
Yeah.
This-
Won't
I
be a
think
lot,
we're
but it
gonna
might be
see-
some.
Wouldn't it make sense to put it into the fire hall?
well, yeah.
We were hoping to be
Could we
fiscally
bring a
prudent
policy?
and recoup our costs of clearing the land by selling the merchantable timber.
Yeah, I think fire hall is a good place for furnishings,
And-
particularly.
Funding our emergency operations center.
Melanie?
I'd really be supportive of moving forward, because this isn't with the policies like this, because this won't be the last.
That's correct, yes.
No, sir.
Areas will be clearing,
Yeah.
so.
Good plan.
And there was a lot of concern raised the last time, and a lot of people saying, what are you doing to the wood? You know,
Yeah,
I'd
there
like
needs
to
to be
buy a
clarity,
truck.
yes.
So should we?
And we're not gonna cut it
Yes,
into
we
firewood, it would be in lengths, and people would have to take it away and do that part of it.
That
Yeah.
revenue from any wood sales,
Could we direct
can
staff?
we have one conversation? Guys, you're distracting me because I know you and I'm wondering what you're talking about back there.
Could we do a policy that could we direct staff to develop a policy?
Yes, I think that would be more appropriate.
Yeah,
The staff be
very
directed to
Develop a policy about revenue from trees cut on community land.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay,
Sure.
I move that.
I think we did.
Does it need to be revenue? Could we keep it a little bit more general?
Revenue and wood?
Or how, like, dispose of, or like, because maybe we want to just donate it, just like
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
Okay.
Wood and or revenue
Because-
from wood.
Disposal.
Just
disperse,
Disposition?
disbursement?
how about we have the general
A little late
idea,
for
then
that.
Tyler and I can, because my brain is shut down, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I'll go with that.
Yeah.
I'll let you
Second. All in favor?
Okay, that's our wood policy, and then can I hear the other policy again, that staff,
That council directs staff to arrange a site visit during the week of December 18th, 2017 to review details of clearing the fire hall site.
before any clearing takes place?
There won't be any clearing taking place.
There won't be any, don't worry about it. We're not going to do it next week.
Last winter, we had canceled walkabout after walkabout due to snow and ice, and I could just see,
You can
I just
see the
wanted to-
trees sticking up through the snow, we will not
I
get
move
that
that
much
motion.
snow.
Does it have to be next week? Why don't we do it Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and be done with it?
Well, I think Ian's on vacation, so supposedly
That,
on vacation.
I'll go
Sit
in
here.
there.
If we, okay,
As
let's
soon as-
try to do it before the end of this week, because the weather changes over the weekend. The rain is coming back.
As soon as possible.
Yeah, sure, arrange it, say, as soon as possible. Okay, does that work for us?
And I'll
Yeah.
second.
Okay, so all in favor of that one? Okay, so that is passed.
Great.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Steve.
Okay. Councillor Nicholson.
Metro hasn't met in the last little while. We had our last board meeting at the tail end of November. Greg Moore, I don't recall if I mentioned this, he was re-elected as chair. However, he will not be running again in the municipal election in 2018, so he has won last year as chair of Metro Vancouver. And a decision was made regarding regional business licensing. I think I sent you a message about this. They will, Metro Vancouver will not be proceeding with regional business licensing, in part because the complexity of it all sunk in. End of report.
They're like that, those damn business licenses.
Regional ones.
Regional ones, yeah.
So,
Not local.
Islands Trust, I'll shoot a shot on that one anytime. What's happening with the Islands Trust?
We had our quarterly meeting and we had two very good presentations. Have we had the PowerPoints yet for those two presentations from
Yeah, the Oceans Protection
the
Plan,
yeah.
and, yeah, they came from Claire. And, anyway, the Oceans Protection Plan came forward, and also the other presentation was about the proposed marine conservation area in the southern Gulf Islands, different from the park reserve, so this would be a marine conservation reserve because of all the First Nations in the area.
But still Parks Canada.
It's still Parks Canada, but a different branch, I think a different style. And they have come back after learning some lessons and things. They're sort of making a restart on that project. We looked at some financial things, and we discussed what Islands Trust may begin to start to do in response to the Salt Spring Island deciding not to incorporate, what how might the Islands Trust change going forward or not. And those kinds of discussions. We had a wonderful blessing ceremony at the beginning from the Songhees Nation, and where Sickle was here. Anyway, it was they were recognizing the Islands Trust and its commitment to reconciliation and to First Nations involvement in preserving and protecting the Trust Islands and in working together. And that's about all I can remember at this point.
I forgot to do my package, that monument. There will be a public consultation on the budget coming up, starting in January. Meeting dates were set for the next 2018, and with an earlier November 1st new Trust Council meeting. And we're now looking at our requisition is up over 290,000 again. So that's a 20+% increase over
Is
last
it
year.
going to get worked down?
It always seems to.
Well, no, it got worked down, and then it was only going to be 262,000 if we had a 0% tax increase for the rest of the trust areas. Now they're looking at a 2% tax increase for the rest of the trust areas, but somehow that translates to a 20%. And it's because of how the funding from reserve funding operations, special projects from reserve. So I just got the revised detail this morning, so I didn't have time to compare to the previous copies or whatever, so.
We
so
will
we can
have
see.
a new
Yeah.
chief financial officer at the Islands Trust, so no doubt Allison will break her in property.
Well, we don't know whether it's a him or a her. Sydney, I think, did I advise you that Sydney Shaw's, yes, had,
Moved on.
she's working out of Nanaimo in the not-for-profit housing world, so we might have some information we can gain.
We also passed a motion requesting Transport Canada to station an escort tug at Sydney because there's concern for the tankers coming through. There was a lot of concern about oil spills from the Gulf Islands that are closer to the channel. And I think it would be great if we can encourage people to have a look at the Oceans Protection Plan. There's a public comment period, so I'll get that information to Sophie, and people can have a look at that.
So while we're on regional stuff, there's new chairs and vice chairs in the mayor's council?
Oh, yes, I should report. So the last mayor's council meeting, Gregor Robertson is no longer the chair. It's now Eric Corrigan from Burnaby, and Linda Hepburn from Surrey has been replaced by Richard Walton from District of North Vancouver. And it was all just a wonderful palace coup type of thing. It was great fun to watch. And what it means, implications, we don't really know what the implications are going forward.
New leadership.
But it's a different, theoretically a different direction. Derek is very much into governance, wants the Mayor's Council to get back direct control of TransLink from the TransLink board, and is fighting to that end. So we'll see how he does over the next year on that one. They did another item was development cost charges for transit throughout the region. And I did, as I sometimes do here, managed to speak for a long time absolutely in vain. It's going to be $2,100 per house, and then scaling down to $1,200 per apartment. Region-wide, no difference as far as how much service you get or don't get, because they all felt that $1,200 was such a small amount, a mere 12% of the real cost of bringing bus service to people, that why could it, it just a piddly amount, so why not do it? The fact that it triples our DCC charges, and the fact that we would now, given our current state of population and service, it will cost us $1.3 million per shuttle bus added to our transit on island, based on the cost of the DCC. So I was not impressed. It does have to have change to the provincial legislation for it to go forward. So I will be going back to the other mayors in the form of emails talking about an opportunity lost, where DCCs actually could supply buses for new subdivisions being built 20 years from now. But the way this DCC works is they're going to borrow $400 million now, and this is going to pay $20 million a year to pay off that debt over the next 20 or 30 years. So people will be paying DCCs for their new subdivision, but there will be no money to actually put buses into that subdivision. So anyway, sorry, I got going on that one. I won't tell you about the rest of the meeting. I'll be here all night. What were you going to say, Maureen, or Melanie, and then first Melanie, and then Maureen? Sorry.
Did you have?
Well, the only comment I was going to make was that in the press, Corrigan was quoted as being a bus man, so I was hoping maybe you could advocate for a couple new buses for us at Horseshoe Bay.
Derek ran a transit authority at some point in the past. When the mayors had control of it, he was the mayor's guy. So I think that's what they were talking about. I don't think there was much else as far as him being a bus man.
Well, he was a great fan of the Bee Line, and we're getting a Bee Line.
Not everybody is. That's standard rhetoric.
That's good.
Maureen?
I'm wondering if this is another one of those issues where there's, within Metro Vancouver, an urban and a rural area.
Oh, yes.
And whether we should be talking with Minister Robinson on the municipal affairs side of things, and Minister Donaldson on the rural development side of things.
Right.
And we've already set up the contact with Donaldson on, we're rural but part of urban, and
Right.
that has gone forward to Greg Moore and to Carol Mason. And Carol offered to take that sort of bundle of issues forward to the Infrastructure and Finance Committee of Metro Vancouver. I'm assuming there's an implementation period for the DCCs.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe we need to get in front of that committee and make that argument. We were planning on doing it, but this is another piece of the argument that we want to make, that the mini municipalities are different from the larger municipalities. And
Yeah,
this
well-
would be a real hardship.
Yeah, Selena is in charge of TransLink, so since we're going to be meeting with her, why
Next week.
not? That's
Yeah.
good, good thinking, thank you. Okay, should we get on to our consent agenda items? First one, 12 bids. 3.7, I believe.
There's 10.3,
3.10, yeah.
Oh, 3 points, oh,
no, 10.3?
I didn't see that
3.3.
be pulled.
Oh, sorry, 3.3 was the one that was pulled.
I'll move item 10.3.
No, we can't move it, it's gotta be amended. We're a new council in November, so we've got to get rid of the December and
December,
November appointments. November, when's the first Monday in November?
Oh, so we're talking about 3.14 now,
No,
are we?
we're
No, we're
talking about
10.3.
10.3.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. The first Monday in November is the first swearing in ceremony for the new council. But I don't know how you get to November 22.
Okay, so I'll move the recommendation as amended, and which means strike the November 2018 and the December 2018 items. Does that work?
Sure, second.
So, sorry, would you mind just
Here,
repeating
this-
that
Oh,
again?
this is for
Just
the
struck-
acting mayor?
Yes.
Ah, okay, so
You
November,
just struck
December.
November 18, 2018 and December 2018 from the list, right?
So the
Okay.
Councillor Ellison Morse, May 2018, and Councillor Maureen Nicholson, June
June.
2018.
All right.
Okay,
I second that if it needed seconding.
Gary did.
okay, all in favor? Done. Okay.
So wait, so does 3.14 then need to be amended?
I'm sorry?
No.
No, there'll still be meetings.
That's-
Just-
Oh, right, it'll be this.